in any partnership, you got to have your non-negotiables. So I started writing those out. I was like, man, I'm gonna write my 5 non-negotiables. 5 is the number of grace. So I said, I'm gonna write these numbers, this out. And so I said the first one was number one is I wanted a woman of faith, right? Somebody who was equally yoked and somebody who believed in Jesus and everything else the same way. Number 2 is I wanted a woman who was faithful, not just to me, but also faithful to everything that she's doing. You know, like to her friends, to her job, her occupation. A woman who was faithful. Number 3 is I wanted a woman who was independent, had her own identity. It wasn't, oh, I was Russell's wife or this or that. Like they had their own identity, they had their own dreams. It could be a nurse, it could be to a teacher, it could be to anybody, but obviously see on stage doing a 1-2 step and leveling up and everything else. But it didn't have to be that, but it was just somebody who had their own identity, who wanted to be volunteer work, or whatever it is. Like they wanted to have something they're dedicated to.
Now this is what I love about God. It comes full circle. For those that know, I just released a video a few days back talking about your kingdom spouse. For those that know that God has given you a promise of marriage and you're waiting, and those that are longing for it and you're praying for it. Did you hear what he said? One of the 2 things that stood out to me is a woman who's faithful, not just to God, but everything that she's doing in her life. And also she's faithful to what God is doing through her life, meaning her own purpose. The second thing was a woman who has her own identity. She's, who God called her to be. I said in my video, you want to be with somebody that's coming into your life to pour into what God is doing. I say when you get with a man, you have to be with a man that is so faithful to God, that he's faithful to you, that he's going to protect whatever it is that God is doing in your life, not come in your life and cut you off. Too many people are getting married to people who come into your life and cut off what you are doing. As women, your legacy matters. You see what I'm saying? You see the difference in how he taught and how the podcast parasites taught. See, your accomplishments don't matter to those parasites. But to a man that is happy, whole, and healthy, just like to a woman who's happy, whole, and healthy, your accomplishments matter because you matter. I heard this guy say on a podcast, and I'm not going to use his name, I'm going to keep it professional. He said a woman who's educated has disqualified herself for love. And I thought on it for a minute. You know what? He's right. But it's not that she's disqualified. It's just that you don't qualify. Because you are not evolved high enough to love me in my higher self. Come on now, you better catch them diamonds. We have to understand this. The world is made up of 2 groups of people. You have the one that is going in a revolving door in life, revolving the same cycle. And then you have the other group of people who's evolving. So you have revolving and evolving, and you have this small percentage of people who are evolving. So you at the caterpillar stage and you going into a butterfly, but most people are at the caterpillar stage. So you're right. This is why I tell people you got to be slow when it comes to marry. Be sure that this is somebody that God is joining you together and you're not joining yourself together, because you're going to end up meeting somebody who cut off what God is doing in your life, who cut off your accomplishments, who come into your life and trap you. This is why a lot of people live in that misery. This is why you're in a relationship and feel alone. You're dealing with a parasite. When you're with a woman or you with a man, they're not coming into your life to cut off your legacy or coming in your life to cut off what God is doing in your life. They're going to add to it and they're going to protect it. You will have your own identity. They want to see you flourish. They're not intimidated by your accomplishments. The people that are intimidated by that, these are the people who are revolving. This is why I said before, we're living in a mind state of idiocracy. This is the depth of intellect. It's not many intellectual minds here. Most people are becoming dark and confused. You see what I'm saying? You're having crazy conversations about who takes out the trash. My house, the trash gonna be taken out, whether it's my husband or myself. We're not arguing over who does the laundry. You understand what I'm saying? We are a union. This is why I say the devil don't like these type of relationships to be in the spotlight. He wants people to believe that you have to have struggle love. You see what I'm saying? And you don't have to. But here's the thing. If you can be patient enough, You have to go through that stage of, evolving caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to go through those stages. I get that most people want to meet somebody and y'all grow together, but you can't do that. It's not going to always happen. It's not likely because most people stay revolving. You see what I'm saying? And as you're evolving, how you going to be able to be with somebody who's just revolving in the same space? Most people have not elevated high enough within themselves to love you where you are, especially when you're happy, whole, and healthy, especially when you're in your purpose. This is why I got out of dating a long time ago. Because once I found out who I was in God, I said, oh, this too big for most of the guys I know. They just gonna come in and slow me down. See, I got there early. I knew that. I'm already out thinking you. I'm already out moving you. I can't date you. I have nothing against you. But this is why I left that alone and I kept evolving, because I said, I'm going to leave my love life into God's hands because he knows exactly who's tailor-made for me. This man going to protect what God is doing in my life. And I'm going to protect what God is doing in his life. That's a real union right there. The enemy don't like that. This is why Russell Wilson, I'm going to pray for you, because the more you talk about how you love on your family, the more the enemy going to want to tear it down. He don't want people to see that. He don't want you to keep advertising God's love like that. I'm going to keep praying for him. People going to want to see him fail because they cannot evolve high enough to live like this man or like his wife. People going to want to see it fail. But I'm going to pray for this union. Oh, yeah, I got to. And I also mentioned in my last video, I said, when I became one with God, he made my light brighter. When I became one with God, I evolved higher. So if you're with anybody that's trying to dim your light, that's not of God. They're trying to cut off you from evolving and clip your wings that God gave you. That's not the people for you. You see what I'm saying? God adds to you, not take from you. So a lot of you are stuck in relationships where somebody is dimming your light. They taking from you. They taking your joy. They taking your peace. They trying to clip your wings. You see what I'm saying? That's a parasite. And a lot of people are married or in relationships with parasites. Remember, God makes your light brighter. So if any man or woman come into your life trying to dim it, you know they ain't worth it. These are people who are revolving in the same cycle, and they may not ever come out. So don't apologize for saying, hey, I got to move on from you. This is not working out for me. This is not God's best for me. Go back and watch my video and listen to what I was talking about. Do not jump the gun. If you are somebody you know that God has promised you marriage and you're still in that waiting season because you're trying to see who's who, do not change nothing. You keep your standards and your bar where it's at. Especially, if it's in a righteous, in the righteous way, keep it where it's at. And this is for men as well. Keep it right there. Don't want, because counterfeits coming out. Them counterfeits will ruin your life. Don't be trying to jump the gun just to get married, just to say you married. When I get married, when you get married, you should want to be in a union that is fruitful. Not just we together, we go on vacation, we just got, no, man. Listen, if that's enough for you, then it's enough for you. But for me as a woman, that's not enough for me. We have to be fruitful. It has to be, we're doing something for real that has a major impact on the world. We're giving people life and giving, especially young children. If I deal with orphan children, giving them something that they didn't have. I'm trying to be something for somebody that I did not have. I'm not just showing up in the world just in a fairy tale. I'm ready to be fruitful and multiply in different ways, not just having babies. Because that's not the only way to be fruitful and multiply. Come on now. But if you can be patient with God, he will align you with somebody who's going to protect y'all union. Y'all protect each other. Catch them diamonds.